Thank you, everyone. This reading is for Gemini for the month of June 2026. And the cards past, Six of Cups, present, Five of Pentacles, future, Page of Swords, challenges, Four of Swords, and the outcome is Knight of Pentacles. Let me pull up the clarifiers. Clarifier for past Six of Cups is Two of Wands, Seven of Swords, Page of Swords, Page of Pentacles, and Ten of Wands. Hello Gemini, and welcome to your June 2026 love reading here on SheloMystics. My intention with these spreads here is to provide guidance, clarity, insight into energy surrounding your situation. So these are general messages, so take whatever resonates with your journey and leave the rest behind. Today we are specifically focusing on love, relationship, and emotional connection, and the energy surrounding your heart space through June 2026. We will be looking at the past influences that have brought you to this point, what currently is kind of unfolding, and also where the energies are appearing to be moving forward, and the challenges that you may need your attention, and likely the outcome based on the cards that we have already represented here. So, Gemini, let's begin. From the past, we see there is a Six of Cups, so clarified by a bunch of other cards. This immediately tells me that the story we are looking at did not begin anytime recently. This is deeply connected to the memory, and we speak about emotional history here, and a lot of familiarity. And it talks about people who kind of leave a lasting impression on your life. For some of you, this could be an ex partner, and for some, it's a kind of a soulmate connection. For others, it's the person who you never fully moved on from. So the kind of energy feels familiar, and it kind of feels remembered here. It's quite emotionally significant, I would say. Now, let's look deeper into this clarifiers. Six of Cups is clarified by Two of Wands. This tells me that there was a vision attached to this connection. Somebody kind of, you happen to imagine the possibility. There was plans, expectations, and things to go ahead. The question was about where this relationship might eventually kind of lead. This is about somebody is still in the planning stage. So the connection carried a potential here, but also we see here the card of Seven of Swords entering. This is becomes complicated, and whenever there is a Seven of Swords in such situation, it is about somebody kind of avoiding dealing with things directly. And this does not mean betrayal as such, but for many Geminis, this kind of feels more like an emotional avoidance. So somebody is avoiding the conversation, commitment, avoiding the difficult truth, and also avoiding responsibilities. So you may have known what needs to be discussed, but you chose not to address it. So somebody may have known what needs to be discussed. It's the person that you're dealing with kind of knows what to be discussed, but chose not to address it. Also, we see there is a presence of Page of Swords here. This is very fascinating because the communication appears to be missing. There is an observation that is present. So here we see the same card being linked to this. This is your future energy. Okay, let's see that later. But then no, it is you paying attention, gathering information, trying to understand what is happening. For some of you, this could have involved a social media observation also. For others, it's just an emotional observation too. So watching others from a distance without openly discussing what was really happening. And Page of Pentacle, another clarifier, tells me that the connection wasn't without potential. There was genuine opportunity that we see here. There was room to build something real is what we see. So where you saw the growth, stability initially, it's some sort of potential was kind of never fully developed in the situation here. The Ten of Swords, another clarifier, this explains why is that so. The situation kind of became heavy, the waiting became unnecessary, and uncertainty was something very commonly seen here. The unanswered question is too much to carry for you. The Gemini, many of you have been carrying this emotional weight connected to the situation for long enough than you should have. As we're speaking, this is the entire history of the connection. And that burden is something that is followed to you into month of June. Let's take a look at the present energy, which is Five of Pentacles. Some of you Geminis may feel disconnected, may feel ignored, and some may be still dealing with the uncertain situation about where you stand with the particular person. So there may be moments when you're kind of questioning your overall value. So this is you questioning your place in someone's life, questioning whether your effort you're investing is actually being returned or not. So that's something kind of makes you like, you're still wondering what is happening. So the clarifiers here completely transform the meaning of these cards here. The first thing clarifier we see is the fool, and it tells me that you're not being stuck. The fool here talks about the fresh chapter, a leap of faith, a new direction or a beginning. So the universe seems to be asking you to release those old baggages from and be willing to step into something unfamiliar territory. So now whether the new beginning involves a past person or a new person will differ on each viewers here, but the energy itself is undeniably fresh. And the Knight of Cups here, this is the emotional movement where which indicates about the communication, expression, or an offer and or an invitation, or a romantic gesture altogether. So the June for Gemini appears to be emotional movement, whether there has been a previously been emotional stagnation, and which is kind of followed by the Ace of Cups here. And this one is the most beautiful card in this love reading. This talks about emotional renewal, the heart kind of reopening, a chance for love to flow again. For some viewers, this may represent a reconciliation. For others, it represents an entirely new emotional beginning. So either way, the emotional opportunity appears available here. The Six of Pentacles kind of talks about the balance, reciprocity, and equal give and take. One of the strongest messages coming through here is that Gemini is no longer you're willing to carry the relationship burden all alone, and you seem to teach you the month of June seems to teach you the value of mutual investment. The relationship cannot thrive only when one person is giving. You'll feel lost. It has to be a mutual investment, and Six of Pentacles here restores the balance. For the future energy, we see the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords appears here again. It is most important because it appeared in your past clarifier as well, that we see here. Oh, it appeared in your past. Yeah, there you go. So from the past, this is important because it kind of appears in your past clarifier. Observation has been a recurring theme here, something that you have been watching, thinking, analyzing, trying to understand. But now, the surrounding cards here in this situation, the moment becomes more than mere observation. Knight of Pentacle is a slow but dependable energy. It is something that does not let you rush or be impulsive. This gives you a stable progress, the kind of progress that actually lasts. Followed by Ace of Swords. This card cuts through the confusion, provides you the clarity, honesty, communication, and then also the realization that something becomes undeniably clear. A truth you have been waiting for finally arrives. Also, the Six of Wands here for many Geminis, it appears to be that's a confirmation regarding something that you have been questioning for quite some time, be it about the recognition or the acknowledgement or whether this bond will succeed or progress. So, the card of strength talks about the transforming the entire future position Because strength isn't about controlling how other people see you or validate you. It's about mastering yourself. By this point, you appear stronger emotionally, wiser, and also more confident, is what we see. So you're no longer reacting to sort of a mixed signals. You're no longer chasing answer everywhere. So you're no longer abandoning your own peace of mind for someone else's uncertainty. The future energy here feels empowered and it is matched with the challenge, a four of swords here. So your challenge throughout June isn't allowed. It is not to do with the attraction, opportunity, or healing. Here the four of swords we see, it talks about the rest. You are asked to reflect, recover, and take a pause. You have been trying to remain strong and practical despite everything that is going on. It shows there is a sense of determination. You haven't kept moving forward, you're keeping functioning, you have kept handling responsibility. Here we see then this is the disappointment, the ending, or the sense of you feeling betrayed, the pain that has not completely been released. So this is the wounded warrior, still standing, still fighting, but kind of exhausted, but perhaps still expecting another battle around every corner. The challenge for Gemini is here to learn that not everyone who enters your life is coming to hurt you. So some people arrive to heal also. The Knight of Pentacles, this is not something fast or dramatic. This is something very reliable, dependable, and doesn't let you rush or be impulsive. This is something real. So here the cards tells us that whatever is developing during June is not meant to be rushed. It is meant to be built carefully. Now let's look at the surrounding cards. The Page of Wands here. Despite everything, you know, that happens in this reading, there is still curiosity, the interest, and desire to communicate. This is a very youthful energy that we see. It's about a message, reaching out, wanting to see where something could go. So, for some Geminis, this can absolutely indicate a communication, a text, or a conversation, or sort of a renewed interaction. It's an attempt to reopen communication where things may have gone quiet. For others, it's not necessarily a specific message, it is a kind of hope that is returning. It's excitement, also the emotional motivation that appears. So, after everything that we have seen from the past position, and this feels important because at the beginning of this reading, the energy was kind of felt very burdensome here. Now it feels to be alive again. Along paired with the Three of Swords, this tells me that there is still pain attached to this connection. There is disappointment attached to the story. There is a wound that has not been completely healed. But what is interesting is that I don't see this as a new heartbreak. This is an old heartbreak that is being acknowledged. So reason why I say this, because the Three of Swords is surrounded by the cards that suggest healing rather than the sense of collapse. For some Geminis, communication kind of may bring up old feelings, memories, or hurt. So things that were never fully discussed, that never fully understood. These things may temporarily feel uncomfortable, but sometimes discomfort is part of the healing process also. There is balance and healing here. This is the most important card in the entire outcome. So, this talks about the emotional harmony and the patience. This is your ability to blend the opposing energies together. So, the temperance here tell me whatever happens during June, Geminis end this month with a much healthier emotional position than where you have started. The confusion begins settling. The emotional extremes can be managed. The constant overthinking kind of settles a bit. For some of you, this can indicate there is a reconciliation. For others, this indicates that making peace with the past. Either way, the result is heading towards healing, and that's the key message. And this is the final card for clarifier. Because the presence of a temperance, we see this Five of Swords is talks about a realization. It talks about some battles simply aren't like worth fighting anymore. It's a realization that chasing somebody's attention is a bit exhausting, and you realizing that you proving your worth to the wrong person is also exhausting. So the realization that constantly trying to control the outcome kind of only creates the stress. So Five of Swords feels like the Gemini choosing peace over struggle, because choosing self-respect over the pursuit and choosing emotional balance over the kind of chaos. There appears to be a communication, renewed interest, or a renewed emotional movement. So that communication kind of may bring up the old feelings back to the surface, and some of you may feel painful. Some of those conversation may force difficult truth to be acknowledged here. But rather than creating more chaos, those truth actually create kind of a healing. So this becomes a dominant energy here. Balance becomes prominent in this situation, and by the end of June, Geminis will appear far more less willing to participate in one-sided dynamics. So the Knight of Pentacles here tells me that you're choosing what is stable, what is healthy, or reliable, and something that is sustainable. Not what is exciting for 5 minutes, not what kind of creates a confusion, not something that keeps you guessing. So, Gemini, June does not look like a month where everything suddenly falls in place overnight, but it looks like a month where your emotional world becomes much more healthier. You gain clarity, you avoid, you acknowledge kind of the old wounds, and you begin healing. So, you stop fighting the battles that no longer deserve your energy. And most importantly, you start moving towards the relationship that are capable of offering consistency rather than confusion. And honestly, when I look at the entire spread from the beginning to end, that feels like the true victory is being offered to you throughout June 2026. If this reading resonated with you, do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel. As a new channel, your support genuinely helps these messages reach more people who may need them. I would love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to share your experience in the comment section below. Thank you for spending your time here with me today. Take care of yourself and looking forward to connect with you again in the next reading. Until next time, Gemini, stay grounded, stay open to the blessings that you're finding their way towards you. And remember that clarity often arrives exactly when it is needed the most. Take care.